To kick us off on episode 5 and the final season of The Save, we're going to look back at all of the transfers across season 5. Starting us off is Serginho Dest. He was brought in to play as a left back and also play as a right back for us, but we had already brought in some players that basically bumped him down the pecking order. He decided he wanted to move on. He's another player that has gone out to the Middle East and joined Al Fateh. The next player to leave was Tanguy Ndombele. Now, I actually laughed when I unveiled Ndombele, but I did pick him up for 5 million and I actually managed to move him on for £28 million, which is an absolute fantastic amount considering what I paid and the fact he has gone to Al Shabab, and I think we have robbed them blind. The final player to leave in the save is Charles de Ketelaere. He's a player that I couldn't really figure out. I absolutely loved him a couple of versions of the game ago, and then trying to manage him in this game is confusing. He wants to play as a striker, but he's best suited to be an attacking midfielder, but I don't use one. He can play as a midfielder, so never really fitted into my system. Got disgruntled, wanted to leave, went to Liverpool. Simple as that. So with those 3 players leaving, it meant for the final season, I had one last shot at filling the squad out in terms of the depth. And we started off by signing Moise Kean, just for a bit of depth on each wing, and obviously he can play as a centre forward or a striker. He's another player a bit like Luka Jovic from season 1 that you can't really put your finger on why it hasn't gone very well for him. He had all this promise early on at Juventus, kind of went to PSG, Everton, went back to Juventus. It's not really worked out for him, but there is still something there. Our scouts said that he could be worth something to us, so we picked him up for around about £15 million. It wasn't a world-breaking transfer, not expecting big things from him, but he can be a rotation option when we need him, which is exactly what we wanted. The next player to come in was Presnel Kimpembe. He actually came in on a free transfer. PSG had allowed him to leave for nothing. Put him on 110 grand a week, stick him at centre-back, and he's good to go. He's an upgrade, really, on what we have. Certainly, if not an upgrade, he's level with the likes of Tomori and Tior, and he's a player that will have a positive influence on the squad, as well as the save, I think, towards the end of the save. The next player to come in was Roger Ibanez. He's another player who was let go of. He went to Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. He was let go of from there. We've brought him back to Italian football. Probably not going to use him as a starter, but he's certainly a good rotation piece. The next player to come in was Giacomo Faticanti. Now, we are pretty covered in terms of central midfield. Can also drop back and play a defensive midfielder. But once again, those rules around Italian players and needing to fill the squad with the right types of players meant that we needed to go and sign an Italian midfielder. And that's exactly what we did. And the final signing, and this one is genius. Couldn't turn it down. It popped up as an intermediary. These 2 players that we have got through intermediaries have been absolutely fantastic. And if this is how it works in Football Manager, I really am looking forward to the whole run of this game. Because we managed to sign Mohamed Salah. We have brought him back to Italy and we have got him at the age of 35. Now, we paid £30 million, I think, for him. But it's an absolute no-brainer. Still retains a lot of his ability. Okay, the pace has dropped to 12. The acceleration's dropped off to 14. But he's still a player who could still play in any of the top leagues. Decided it was such a good thing we could not turn it down. He's on £400,000 a week, which is more than Son on £300,000, and it did disrupt a lot of the players who wanted bigger deals, but I could not turn it down. Absolutely fantastic to have Mo Salah, even if it was just for 6 months, as we did this deal in January. So those are the final players to come in and complement the squad. How would they gel together? Can we go out on a high in season 5? Let's jump to the competitions and find out. So to kick off the final roundup of competitions in season 5, we start with the UEFA Super Cup. We went up against Chelsea, who won the Europa League, and we beat them 5-3 to lift our second Super Cup. In the Supercoppa Italiana, unfortunately, we were drawn against Inter in the final of that, where we would go down 3-2. In the Coppa Italia, we would come in at the 3rd round, where we were drawn against Monza. We beat them 7-1. In the quarterfinals, we would play against Fiorentina, where we needed extra time to go through 3-2. In the semi-finals, we played off against Brescia, where we won 8-1 on aggregate. And in the final, we would get our revenge against Inter Milan, as we would beat them 2-1 to lift the Coppa Italia. We would begin the defence of our Champions League by playing in the league phase, but we didn't perform very well there. Finished in 15th place, played 8 games, we won 4 of them, drew 2, lost 2, had a goal difference of 9, and we finished on 14 points. That put us just 2 points off of Real Madrid, who finished in 8th, but it did put us 8 points off of PSG, who went through as league phase winners. That meant that we go into the playoff round, where we were drawn against Leverkusen. We beat them 4-1 on aggregate. Going into the round of 16, we'd be drawn against Manchester United, and unfortunately, Manchester United would once again be our scourge in the Champions League, so they would knock us out 5-4 in the round of 16. That would then just leave us the Serie A to go for, and Serie A we would win. Another league trophy that is now 5 in a row for AC Milan. 92 points once again, that is the magic number. I think we have won the league with 92 points in 3 out of 5 seasons maybe. This time around we won 30 games, we drew 2, we lost 6, had a goal difference of 86 and finished on 92 points. This time around Napoli pushed us all the way to the end. Only 6 points behind for Napoli. They are the closest that any team I think has been to catching us in the league. Inter finishing miles behind once again, and Juventus in 4th. Now, Ivan Toney, I said at the end of episode 4, would come good for AC Milan. Ivan Toney scored more goals in a single season than Oliver Giroud. He got 33 league goals in a single season and finished as the top goal scorer. Dusan Vlahovic got 30 and he still couldn't get near Toney. Chukwueze was our top average rater with 7.4. Moretti and Wirtz both got 12 assists each. Kostas Tsimikas is down there on the yellow cards with 11, and Milan managed to get 15 clean sheets. So once again, we have won Serie A. It's been fantastic, winning 5 in a row. So to round it all up then, Serie A in the bag, another league title, Champions League, Manchester United once again. Are they OP in this game? Maybe so. They are definitely OP when it comes to AC Milan. Super Cup in the bag, Coppa Italia in the bag, and runners up in the Super Coppa Italiana. Now, obviously, the finances aren't that important going forward because this is the end of the save and the series. But if we were to continue on, or if we look at how we would leave the club, there would be a transfer budget of £27 million, be a wage budget of £5.1 million. The overall balance of the club is £187 million. So it is infinitely better than when we took over the club at the start of the save. In terms of the club vision, the actionable objectives to work within the wage budget, on course, maintain the club's status as the most reputable team in Europe, Italy, and now the world. We're on course to do all of those things. By the end of next season, they would want to reach the latter stage of the Champions League, win the league title again, and then my contract would be up for renewal. We finish off with a B- from the board. Now, job security only being secure. I don't know what they expect from us. 5 league titles, Champions League, Europa League, Super Cups. Still only a B-. They are pleased with the 6-0 win over Venezia, 3-0 win against Juventus, and a 2-0 win against Cagliari. In terms of the supporters, so they give us a B- also. They are happy to have finished above Inter in the league for a change. They're pleased. Finish above Juventus. Maintain the club's status as reputable of Italy, Europe and the world. We are on course. And they are also happy again about the 2-0 win over Cagliari, 6-0 win over Venezia and a 3-0 win against Juventus. Criticisms, disappointed with the sale of Noah Okafor. That is actually one that I missed at the start. Okafor kind of was asking to leave. His contract was running down. He hasn't moved to another club yet, but I do think he will be finalising a deal to move away. Still technically has left the club and they are unhappy about that. And then, what was the other supporters one? 1-1 draw, and then disappointed with Moise Kean, which I think everybody is, but we give him the benefit of the doubt and tried to get something out of him. So let's have one last look at the squad and how it's left as we leave the end of Season 5. So as always, we're going to have a quick look at what I think was my best 11 across the season, and then we will go into the assistant managers and see how he compares with mine. Starting off, we have gone through the entire save with the 4-3-3 in place, and for me, the best 11 probably this season was Milan, Dedic, Kimpembe, Tior and Stanisic as a back four and a goalkeeper. Lipani has kind of just jumped ahead of Asugo. As I said, they are one in the same, so basically either of those could have gone in there. Moretti and Wirtz are just beasts in the middle of the park for us. Rafa Leao is now on the left. Mo Salah takes up the right. And Ivan Toney will finish up top. If we really wanted to be funny, we could put Son on the left and finish with a Premier League trio up top. But they have been all fantastic. Once again, if we show you just some of the stats, starting off with Florian Wirtz, 37 games, 13 goals, 12 assists. Onto Moretti, who's now got his first full season under his belt at Milan. He chipped in 34 games, 14 goals, 12 assists and 1 player of the match award. Going over and looking at Leao, he had a season which included 36 games, 14 goals, 11 assists, 3 player of the match awards. Mo Salah was only with the club after the January transfer window, but he played 16 games, scored 9 goals, had 9 assists and had 3 player of the match awards, 7.38 average rating. And then Ivan Toney, absolutely ridiculous, 37 games, 33 goals, 6 assists, 4 player of the match awards. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, actually scored 52 goals in 57 games. Absolutely fantastic season for Ivan Toney. There's a joke there about backing him, but don't know if that's the right thing to say. But anyway, yeah, certainly he had my backing to go on and be a success in this save. If we go into the report and look at the best 11 then, so our assistant manager would go with Milan, Dedic, Kimpembe, Tior and Stanisic. Also, Lipani, Moretti and Wirtz, Leao, Salah and Toney. So for the first time in 5 seasons, we match up position for position on the pitch. I could have been funny and just changed Asugo for Lipani, but I actually agree this time he has got it spot on. So instead of going in and looking at the strengths and weaknesses, let's go to the club info, go to the history and the overview. And then you can see now we have 8 Champions Leagues, with the latest one being in 2027. FIFA Club World Cup we didn't actually get to play in. It would come, I think they've changed the format, so the next one we will play in at another time. We managed to win Serie A 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Super Cup 24, 27. Europa League for the first time we managed to win that trophy. I think we won that in the first season, didn't we? 2024. Coppa Italia is now up to 8. So all in all, it's been an absolutely fantastic save. AC Milan are a brilliant team in real life. Like I said, one of the teams with the biggest heritage and history. And every time you think about Italian football, the red and black, synonymous with all those teams from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, even through to the 90s, the 2000s, to the current day, the world stars, the big players. It's been an absolute pleasure to manage this team in Football Manager 2024. But sadly, that is the end of the series. All good things come to an end, but don't worry, there will be another series coming onto the channel at some point. It will be in the near future. It's going to be a team in England. It won't be a team in the Premier League. I won't announce it just yet. You'll have to stay tuned to find out who that team is going to be. Should be a very, very good save. Before you leave the channel, don't forget to hit the like on this video just to support the channel, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content that is coming to the channel. There will be a lot of it now that FM24 is ramping up, and it's going to come out full very, very soon. So the videos will start to come thick and fast. You don't want to miss any of it. Before you go, there are some videos already on the channel, things like Wonder Kids, Let's Plays. There are for FM24 now, FM23. We have also got things like hints, tips, tutorials, a little bit of something for everybody on the channel. But for this one, thank you for joining me on this ride in Italy. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully, I'll see you on another video very soon.